Okay, here we are in Kansas City at the TOC Tournament of Champions PPD. We are joined by Dennis Sanden and Rob Talbot, who own the king seat. Coming out of the losers bracket, we have Eric Blackledge and Ric Smith. This is for everything, the whole title. Eric and Rick have one loss. Dennis and Rob have no losses, so Eric and Rick needing to triple dip if they want to win.
So here, what do you think? Is the triple dip on?
I certainly think it's a possibility. As we said earlier in the day, Eric and Rick were our on-paper favorites. Certainly Dennis and Rob, a very good team, but not so sure they can hold off Eric Blackledge and Ric Smith because Eric is playing phenomenal. In the last leg that Eric and Rick played, we saw them go back-to-back 9 mark.
Yes, a big cricket leg there to get them to this spot. The farthest Eric Blackledge has made it. I believe Ric Smith has not played in a final, but this man stepping to the board, Dennis Sanden, has won this event before.
Yes, a former champion. He won this 2 years ago, so he is going for 2 out of 3 years in the TOC finale.
Ric Smith stepping up here, taking a look at that bullseye, slides into the one, finds the bullseye on the next dart, and finds the bullseye with the third dart. So a good low ton after a slack dart, and really falling into the one's the worst thing. Dennis Sanden going to try to find that bullseye, especially now. Finds the double again. Great shooting after that first miss on the 16.
Yeah, I got to imagine that the only one that's ever played a single match worth $10,000 in this finale is Dennis Sanden, so he should be the most experienced as far as this is concerned. But Eric Blackledge, certainly the class of the field, starting out with 6 perfect darts, or 6 perfect bullseyes. However, his partner does only throw 1 that time to leave 328. So a big opportunity for Robert Talbot stepping to the board.
Yeah, and Ric Smith really has to start worrying about here whether or not he's going to freeze Eric in this leg. However, Eric might be running down there fast enough that he can take it out before that's an issue.
Yeah, the freeze doesn't look too likely now that Robert had a bad shot behind Rick. Only 12 points ahead of him. I think Blackledge is going to have plenty enough time. Plus, he hasn't missed a dart to this point. Still 8 perfect so far. Make it 9. He's on the perfect game.
We now have 65 hat tricks that we've seen here on the live feed today. Dennis Sanden loading up that bullseye to start, and 2 fallouts after that for only 81 scored.
Yeah, the long break that Dennis Sanden and Robert Talbot have faced seems to have affected them, because before we saw them, when they won the king seat here, they were playing very well to beat a really on-form James Hancock and Brandon Smith.
So finally, Rick back in that bullseye pretty steadily for a 103. And of course, Eric Blackledge sitting on 51. We may not see the perfect game again because he may go 1 bullseye.
Yeah, he certainly seems like the smart enough player to do that. With neither of your opponents on and out, you really can take the safer play and go 1 bull. You've thrown 9 bullseyes in a row. Chances are you're not going to miss. But he is going to go after the perfect game. We've seen about 7 different players hit the triple 3, just 1 hole out today. But he cleans it up nicely with a triple 14. So there you have it. The first leg goes to Eric and Rick. just the start of the long triple dip if they're going to do it.
Yes, as this is still loser goes first. So now we see in the middle of the match, Dennis Sanden getting mic'd up here, or somebody adjusting what appears to be a mic pack in his back pocket. I think he's asking or telling him he didn't even buy him dinner first, as he walks up here to the board to start this leg of cricket. Pretty nonchalant from Dennis, knowing that this match is for $10,000.
Yeah, and his partner playing for $20,000 because Robert Talbot is one of the pre-qualified 16 men, as well as Eric Blackledge and Ric Smith. So if Robert and Dennis can win this, Robert will actually get $20,000, Dennis will get $10,000, and Eric and Rick will get $5,000. But if Eric and Rick can win it, they will share the $10,000 bonus and get get $15,000 apiece. So a big match for Robert, not nearly as important for Dennis.
Yeah, we may see a tussle here if Dennis doesn't hold up his end of the bargain, as a real big payday is on the horizon here for Talbot.
Yeah, big last there, says Robert. Don't take my money.
But we are assured to see someone or a team get their money doubled in this. Whereas in the first match or the first final with the women, that ended up only happening to second place.
Yeah, Mary Ferguson finished runner-up in the women's division along with her partner Holly Thompson, so she did have her $5,000 prize money doubled to $10,000. This time, there will be a $10,000 bonus. It can either be split between Eric and Rick, or Robert Talbot can take it all home on his own. So a big shot there from Dennis. A triple 20, a triple 19, a single 18 to really take control of this game. He does not want to fall from grace.
Eric having a pretty slack leg by his standards, averaging almost less than half of what he normally does. Robert Talbot stepping up here to really put a stranglehold on this leg. And you see him close the 18 there. Has an extra dart in his hand. Looks like he might be looking down the board to maybe start on that 17. No, he stays up top. He smacks that 20 for another 20 points. Really a smart shot, as they do have an X on it. Ric Smith and Eric Blackledge do have an X on it. So at any point, if they wanted to take that number away, they could.
So Rick now averaging a 4.0. Going to need to improve that if him and Eric are going to have a shot in this game. Not going to do it on this turn, however. Only throws a 1 mark. So he and Eric both only averaging 2.5. A very poor leg from this team.
Dennis Sanden here stepping up to that 17, stepping over to that 16, and 2 big triples. Gets a pile, a half a pile of 17s and a half a pile of 16s.
2 halves equal a whole. I like it.
Absolutely. Here's a 15 from Eric. Going to need a heck of a lot more than that to put any pressure on these bullseyes. And he only comes away with a 5 mark. So while he does improve his average, it's not going to be enough to worry this man. Robert Talbot stepping up here to close the 15s, to have the lead of 3 numbers, points, heading into those bullseyes. Going to need a multiple score here, and he does with a big triple 15. You hear the crowd react to that treble.
So Ric Smith, everything to do here. Not looking good in this game, but he and Eric did win game 1, so they will get to play another one in game 3, even if they lose this one. We will see a cork. If whoever wins the cork will have the option of choosing to go first or pick the game, but game not over yet. Dennis still needs 3 bullseyes.
When we see him only come away with 2, but no harm, no foul, really an open shot there. We see Eric going to need at least 6 to make this team worried at all, as they are down 3 numbers. Only 41 points, and he does hit 5. So here we do see him take a 9-point lead. However, those 3 numbers and only needing 1 bullseye should not worry Robert Talbot.
No, Robert Talbot's going to finish this up. Bullseye on the first start. Needs a single 20, 17, or 16 to win this game. He does it with a little extra sugar on top. A triple 20 to win this game by 51 points and 3 numbers to tie us up in the first set at 1 leg apiece. We see all the fans gather around there in the background to watch this match. A very important one. It seems as if Dennis is having lots of problems with his microphone in between games. The yellow camera crew there still messing with Dennis's microphone. I would be annoyed by that. I'm very surprised he's not. Oh, and Blackledge does put in a nice double pull for the cork. Robert not happy about missing on the first one, so he's going to take a couple extra.
Yeah, and this is one reason why we tipped this team. Eric Blackledge, a very good corker, very important in this type of scenario, and he's going to get to start in a lot of crucial legs.
Yeah, even though Rick not really playing to the standard that we've seen him play all week, we knew that Eric, being one of the strongest competitors, would have a bit of an advantage because corks are so important with this format, and Eric's going to win more often than not. So he does get the start here in the third game, just as we suspected. He will play cricket. That's what Dennis and Robert chose. So Eric now going to throw at the 20s. He's going to find 4 with the first 2 and a single with the last. So closes the 20s and 40 points for Eric Blackledge.
Yeah, real solid open there. Definitely can be outdone by Dennis in an open. We've seen some big shots out of Dennis, especially to start. But here we see him slide into that 3, and from those first 6 darts, this looks like Dennis and Rob are going to suffer their first loss.
Yeah, if they tie this up at 1-all, I think you have to assume that Eric and Rick are the favorites once again. Wow, and Rick continues to take riskier shots. You see Eric with a much more mainstream type style of play, going for points, but Rick plays a much more aggressive game, throws for the 19 there on the second dart, even after missing the first. So Robert will come up with 1 mark on the 19, hits 2 singles with the first 2 darts, lines up the third, and only hits a single, so 3 singles for Robert. So that team averaging 2 marks a turn, not very good, as Eric Blackledge is averaging 5 by himself.
Here we see Eric still not finding the mark on that 19, but only needing 2 to close, and that's what he does to really shut that 19 down, send Dennis and his team up to that 18.
So Dennis going to take a shot at the 18, only hit 1 mark. So Rick, finally with a big shot, triple 18, triple 17, to really take a stranglehold on this here third leg in the first set.
And honestly, we really got to blame Dennis and Robert for Rick kind of snapping out of it. He's very relaxed. He's got the better player on his team right now, and should really settle in and let these triples flow.
Yeah, we keep talking about it. Darts is a game of pressure. You have to take it off of yourself and put it on your opponents. The only way to really do that is to keep hitting big numbers, and they're just not doing it. However, you do see Robert there throw a 7 mark, 416, trips to 15. So Eric going to come up behind him. Now he feels the pressure. This is the class of Eric Blackledge. You can't make him fold because you put pressure. He instead rises above it.
So Dennis Sanden just having a poopy leg here. Only averaging 1 mark a turn. Falls out into that 16 after a double bull start. Does end up closing that bullseye. And here comes Ric Smith, who's very comfortable. Wouldn't be surprised at all if he puts in the 3 bullseyes in order to win this leg. And there it is. Ric Smith finishes up that leg and the first set. So now both of these teams already have 1 loss. So we will change the formats here.
Yes, now instead of playing 5-0-1 with the freeze rule, it will change to 5-0-1 stacked, both players playing on the same score. The second game will be cricket. The third game will not change. It will be cork for choice. So Robert Talbot shows a dart there for the cork, does not land in the bullseye, looks to be 1 or 2 holes out inside the 10. Eric does throw a bullseye, so once again, cork's very important. Eric's getting the start in the first and third game every time. That's going to be bad news for Robert and his $20,000.
Yeah, Eric really flexing his cork muscle here so far.
The cork muscle is strong.
So now that these two are playing together, he has to worry a little less about Rick as he still gets to throw on the same score, and we'll have it all to do to get down there to 0 before this other team.
Yeah, with the scoring power of Eric and Rick filling in the gaps, I have to imagine these two are going to put in a 12-dart 5-0-1, so it may take a 9-darter out of Dennis and Robert.
So Dennis here coming off a bad leg. Going to need to get right back into the bullseye to get back to work. I think he said shucks after that shot. As we see Ric Smith come up to follow up Eric Blackledge. This low ton.
I predict a hat trick on this one. No real pressure. Eric set him up in a good spot with his low ton, and Dennis let him off the hook. But he does miss the third dart. So 276 for Eric Blackledge when he comes back up. But Robert's going to try to throw a hat trick of his own and actually surpass that score.
Yeah, you were totally wrong on that call. Hopefully Robert here comes up and hits at least 2 bullseyes to follow up and get that score a little bit closer. It looks like he's going to do it. And he does, so I'm a little bit more right on that call. And that's another bullseye, and that's another hat trick to the count for the feed.
Yes, that was my ultimate prediction, an extra hat trick. Did think Rick was going to give it, but he did not. Eric, however, most likely will as well, as he does to leave 126 for Rick. So Dennis settled back on 280, down 154 points. Really needs to hit a big shot if him and Robert are going to win this leg.
Yeah, I feel this is turning out to be maybe a Brandon Smith situation where he really needs something to get him going. And there we see him come up with that $150 to leave his partner really a fine out. And now we see Ric Smith finally under some pressure here. Needs to take this out as Robert Talbot will be licking his chops to get a shot at that 130.
Yeah, he gets the first 2 bullseyes. Going to need a double 13 for the win in this leg. And he hits it. Boom! There it is. He gives a big clap. Eric's happy about it. A big fist pump. Way to go. I'll set up the board, buddy. You do it all.
You make them, I'm taking them.
I like it. It's kind of like raking the cards when you're playing euchre and your partner goes alone. You got to do it.
Yep.
I'll set up the board if you hit the outs.
You make them, I'll rake them in here.
You know what euchre is. A lot of people don't know.
So we see Dennis Sanden here coming to the board, down 1 leg, and this here, the second set, both teams with 1 loss. He's going to need a big shot to really swing the momentum back in their favor after starting on the king seat. He does find a triple 20 with his last start to take a 40-point lead.
Yeah, there really hasn't been a whole lot of signs that they're going to overtake them in any of these important legs. And here we see Eric finally find that triple to put in the 5 mark. But Robert Talbot comes to the board knowing he has the biggest number on the board, knowing he has the start to rely on, and hopefully he'll just relax in and throw some good darts here.
Yeah, Robert Talbot right back in the triple 20. Doesn't hit it with the second dart. Looking at the 19 on that third and gets it. A big pile of marks for Robert Talbot on that one. 3 on the 20, 3 on the 19. So Ric Smith, down by 62 points, is really going to need a big shot to pick him and his partner, Eric Blackledge, up. First dart, not going to do that in the skinny 4. Second dart might do that with a triple 18. Needs another one. Does hit it. So he answers a pile with a pile. Only down 8 points now. Here comes Dennis Sanden.
Dennis again kind of slacking off in these last couple of legs. We see him start on that 20, or at least attempt to. Only comes away with a 20. The wry smile from him as he walks away from the board with only one mark.
So Eric Blackledge, not phased, taking advantage of the 1 mark, trips the 18, trips the 20, 26-point advantage, and the 18s. Robert Talbot is going to need a big shot if he wants to win $20,000 instead of 10. Yes, instead of 10. Had it right. Why'd I keep talking?
So here he's going to slide off to the right, try to get a dart into that treble 17, and smooth strokes at 2, unfortunately. Not what he was looking for there. So again, Ric Smith going to come to the board. Highest average across the board. Out-averaging his partner by 0.5, which is huge in this type of setup. Should be super relaxed, throwing at that 17.
Yeah, finds the triple with the second dart to increase the lead to 43. Moves over to the 15, trips that one as well. 3-number advantage, 43 points. They're about to go 4 out of 5 legs to give Dennis and Robert their second loss.
Yeah, and this break between matches for Dennis and Rob is really, I think, what's holding them back here. They just don't seem to be in a rhythm.
No, not at all. They were certainly playing much better early on, but Eric Blackledge and Rick really playing well, averaging a 6 mark apiece. Well, now less than that because of Eric's last shot where he had to throw at the bullseyes, but still a large advantage. Robert Talbot gonna need to throw at least 5 bullseyes to take the lead. Not gonna happen as the first one misses into the 10. Second one a single bullseye. Needs the double. Does only hit a single. So 2 bulls for Robert Talbot on that turn. Here comes Ric Smith with 2 bulls to finish this leg and set and move 1 win away from victory.
So Ric Smith taking a shot at that bullseye. Only needs 2. Gets 1. 1 dart left in his hand. And there it is. Another good finish by Ric Smith. Rick really coming alive. These two are both playing very well. Ending that match with both with 5 marks per turn averages, and just not looking like they can do anything to stop these guys.
Yeah, this match really has all the storylines. Eric being the top player in the room, Rick being the local hero from Kansas City, Missouri, and the crowd just completely behind these guys. It absolutely is incredible that the triple dip is on.
Ooh, and the cork muscle's not flexed there. Eric does fall out into a single and is defeated there. So we will see the team of Dennis and Rob starting what could be the last set, as Dennis and Rob did just suffer their second loss.
Yes, so Eric will set up the board. Dennis Sanden back there waiting. Gonna want to come out strong in this 501. Probably needs to put in at least 2, but really needs to put in 3 if I'm being honest.
Okay, here comes Eric Blackledge stepping up here to throw at the bullseye to start this leg. Going second for the first time in the opening leg of a set.
Yeah, so Eric with the first real slack shot in an 0-1 game only hits 1 bullseye, and they're going second, so that's going to be tough to overcome. If Robert Talbot can put in a hat trick here, he won't, because the first dart is a 19. They would be sitting pretty. Misses the second dart as well, so really letting Eric off, and misses the third. So only 48 points for Robert Talbot. A door wide open. The breeze is behind Rick's back. All he has to do is get a little bit of speed.
And Rick really has in this match. He started off very lackluster and has just kind of grown like a snowball as this match has progressed.
Yeah, I think he smells that green. He knows 15,000 is waiting if they can win this match.
Absolutely. Great shot there from Ric Smith. Dennis Sanden stepping up here. Came away with a high ton or a low ton the last time he was up. And here we see another low ton with a single one.
So, Eric Blackledge going to step to the board, sitting on 274. Knows he only needs 2 bulls to leave it out. Probably going to want to leave 3 for a nice, easy 124 for Ric Smith because that's what he does. 5 bullseyes from Eric Blackledge.
Yeah, unfortunately for Eric, no style points for doubles in the 0-1 setting here this weekend, but a lot of bullseyes going in, or a lot of shots at that bull going in that double. As we see again, Robert Talbot doing the same thing.
Yeah, 5 bulls, Robert Talbot. He sees the 5 of Eric, calls and answers 5 of his own. So Ric Smith on 124, gonna need to take this out. It does start with a bullseye. He hits it. Now 74, hits another bull, in fact a double, 24, double 12, ooh, bit snatchy, only a single, so Dennis Sanden will come to the board looking to take out 92. I'm going to say right now, if Dennis does not take out this 92, they're going to lose 6 out of 7 games and get triple dipped. Not looking pretty, but the first dart is a bullseye, even though it bounces out. Second dart, single 14, third dart, double 14 to hang on. Dennis Sanden takes that out. What a shot.
Yeah, great recovery there after a poor shot in the middle of that match to come back and take that out. But they did need a little help from Ric Smith missing that double 12.
Absolutely.
So here we go into the second leg of this, what could be the final set if Eric and Rick were able to win it. Eric going to step up here knowing that he has the start, no cork needed. But they're definitely looking to take this to a final leg, or maybe that cork muscle comes out again.
Yeah, a really interesting position now, because if Dennis and Rob win this game, we will be corking up, but it will be for one game of 7-0-1 because both teams will have 2 losses. However, if Eric and Rick win this game, we're still going to cork, but it's only going to be for the 3rd game of this set to see who wins.
So here we go. Gonna want to start with no less than 5 marks here from Eric.
Yes, 5 is the bar. Typically set, not going to get there. Does find the triple with the last, so at least he does get the 20s and points. But Dennis Sanden has to feel happy about that start out of Eric Blackledge.
Absolutely. You're talking about a guy that normally averages 5.5 in league, and we've seen many in the 6s and 7s for Eric this weekend. So for him to only hit 4 to open feels kind of like a let-off.
It feels like momentum might have shifted. Dennis and Robert really starting to get the energy, the spunk you see out of somebody. Well, and then Robert's going to take a knee and say a prayer behind Rick here as Rick walks up and trips the 20. Not really that much of punishment. So here comes Robert, gives Rick Shot a little bit of a clap.
So yes, Robert Talbot coming up here trying to make those 19s pay for still being open, and just falls just short. I feel like the next one's going to fly in there. It does. And now with a 14-point lead, he'll probably stay down there for points. Only finds a single. So again, staying with that 5 marks per turn average, and Eric coming back to the board to kind of hopefully make a reprieve for that only 4 mark that he shot the last time up. Already into that triple, down to the 19, dead nuts into the 19, and we now have a big lead starting to open up for Eric and Rick.
So here comes Dennis Sanden, down by 47, opts to go for the 17s instead of the 18s, has the first 2 triples, a single with the last one to take a 21-point lead, but Ric Smith coming to the board has the 20, everyone's favorite, the biggest number on the board. Let's see if he can take advantage.
Yeah, interesting shot here from Rick. Definitely going to go with that 20. Oh, 2 on the top wire. You can see him take a look at the score and throw that last one just a bit high. But does still score 60 points in that round. And Robert Talbot, with the number that is 2 smaller than the 20 that they're shooting at, is going to try to load it up and try to take this lead. He does straight away into the triple. Probably stay there for another before taking a shot. Ooh, falls out of the 2. He's eyeballing that again.
Oh, he eyeballs the 20 instead, and dead center does he hit it with a 12-point lead. What a momentum shift in this game. Wow, the pressure, the oomph of Robert to throw that shot. But as we said earlier, Eric does not back down from a challenge. I will see your big shot and raise you to a pile and a half. I'll take the 18s and the 17s plus 54 points. Dennis Sanden now going to need a lot. Down by 52 or 42 points. Hits 2 triples of his own. Hesitates. That's going to cost him, I've got a feeling. Robert coming over his shoulder, but Dennis only hits a single. So, down 22 points. Ric Smith will come back to the board looking at that 18.
Yeah, coming off a big 9 mark from his partner. Really put back in a good position here to take the lead back. Does straight away on that 18. Ooh, takes a crack at that 16. Back to the 18, but only for a single. Would have loved to have seen him stay on that 18. Let that hot hand of Eric Blackledge get an open shot at that 16.
Yes, that last 18 did put him up by 50 points, however. So because Robert is relegated to the 16s, he needs more than a triple to get the point lead. So it's going to take at least 4 16s to take the hero dart at the 18 again. Not going to happen, though, as the first dart does fly into the 7. Second dart, only a single, so now a triple to get the point lead. Does hit it with the third dart. Beautiful, beautiful dart. So a 14-point lead for Robert Talbot as Eric coming back to the board, fresh off of a 9 mark, looking at that 18 that he hit 2 of last time. Here it comes. Oh, he's back in there right away with another triple. A single on the next dart. Unlucky on that one. Ooh, switches down to the 16. Another single. So, only a 5 mark for Eric Blackledge, but does maintain a 58-point lead.
Yeah, that means Dennis is definitely going to have to hit at least 4 marks on this 16. 3 of them right there. 6 of them now for a pile. Oh, and a pile and a half. You see the fist pump, the bell ring from Dennis there after the big triple 18. So Ric Smith now in a spot that he hasn't been very many times because of the excellent play by Eric Blackledge. He's going to try to take that spot back. Oh, and he's only got 2 15s. Triple coming in. Oh, no, he slides into that 10. So he doesn't even close the number. So Robert, huge spot for him now. Even if he hits a single, once he hits that triple 15 afterwards, he's going to score some points as well.
Yeah, the first real pressure put on Ric Smith in this game, and he does crumble. A huge shot for Dennis Sanden that last time. Not only did that 9 give them 9 marks, but it cost Rick a bunch. So Robert now needing a double. Whoa, not even going to throw at it. He trips the 15, single bowls, needs 2 of them. No, I'll go trip 16. My partner will take this out. He deserves the win anyways after he threw that 9 mark on the last turn.
Well, I think Robert's super annoyed that Dennis is averaging 7 marks a turn now, and is going to make him throw the 2 bullseyes to bring him down a little.
Yeah, probably exactly what Robert was thinking, because why would you ever want to just go ahead and finish the game when your partner can come up and double bullet with a 6.92 average? Wow, we are on. That set goes to Dennis and Robert. So we're going to play one game, 7-01, open in, open out. We're going to cork to see who goes first. You refer to Eric Blackledge's cork muscle. Let's see how strong he really is.
We can see the players here debating. It looks like Dennis is called tails and won the flip. So he'll walk up here and throw the cork first.
Quite certain that flip was ahead, but Dennis won it nonetheless, so he will throw the cork.
Oh, he's turning around. Going to have a conversation.
There actually might be some debate over the flip.
But no, it was confirmed it was a tail. So Dennis did win the flip, so he's going to come back up here.
Dennis clearly looks like a man that calls heads every single time, so I'm quite confident it was a head.
So high right in the bullseyes, which is going to send Eric a little to the left. And there we see.
Yeah. Oh, and he flexes on the cork muscle. Oh, that's an Eric Blackledge cork. Dennis was only 1 hole in. Eric 2 holes in. Will have the start in one game. 7-01. Whew. Get ready, folks. This is intense.
So predictions. I mean, obviously Eric and Rick with the start. Do we tip them?
Oh, you always tip the person going first in 0-1. I would tip the bartender if she had won that quirk.
But you're so cheap, she doesn't get a tip.
Wow, let's talk about that kind of tip. All right.
Get the tip. Here we see Eric looking to load this thing up right away. Straight back into that double bullseye.
Ooh, not going to fill it up, though. Only hits one. Wow, a very slack shot from Eric Blackledge. Only 84 points. So Dennis now coming to the board, although he lost that cork, still looking to take advantage. Also hits the 17 with the second dart and the third dart at the exact same shot. Stay tuned. We're still tied. Ric Smith coming to the board.
Incredible drama. Cannot believe that fell into the same miss twice, as we see Ric Smith now with a little bit of pressure here, but I think he's going to be a little bit more comfortable throwing at that big bullseye. And apparently 17s are free as far as fallouts are concerned, and he does come up with a big 117.
And what this has done is left him squarely on 500 points, a number divisible by 50. So 10 more bullseyes from here out of Eric Blackledge and Ric Smith, and we are done. Game over. Unless Robert and Dennis can really put something together to make them not get 10 darts. Oh, and Robert's going to give it his best shot as he puts the first two in the bullseye, but the last one only hits a 7, so 10 points down for Robert Talbot as big Eric Blackledge steps up to the board to make up for that 84 he threw last turn.
And for the listeners there and watchers at home on YouTube, if you'll look just over in the top right-hand corner, you will see Carrie Stevenson, who is Eric Blackledge's better half, and we can kind of watch her reaction to some of these darts as well.
Yeah, she absolutely lives through Eric's darts on every single one. But Dennis Sanden living through his own with 5 bulls, a big hat trick to match Eric's hat trick, still trailing by 10 points. Ric Smith comes back to the board, now looking to increase that 10-point lead. Whew, if he hits a hat trick here, 200 points, and they're going to look very good in winning this. But not going to hit the second dart, so a bullseye needed on the last. Only hits an 8, so 32.17 average for Ric Smith now. Robert Talbot might have an option of going for the 180 to leave 180. I got a feeling if Ric Smith would have had a hat trick, that would have been a no-brainer. But because he only threw one bull, probably not going to take that shot. Probably just going to put it in 150 and hope that they get 9 more darts.
Well, and honestly, doing the math here, if Eric comes up and hits that $150, Ric Smith has missed a 124 before, and that's what he will be left with.
Well, Robert does not throw the hat trick, so down 29 points. Eric Blackledge will come to the board to set up Ric Smith. Oh, a double bull on the first dart. Shank into the 14 on the second dart, but a double bull on the third, so a real pretty 160 left for Ric Smith when he comes back up.
Could be a big finish here at the end of this leg. Dennis Sanden, though, going to try to make that 95 look good for his partner here, and that's what he leaves.
There is one player in this match that has won this event before. That's Dennis Sanden, showing why that happened with a 42.67 average. If Ric Smith does not take out this 160, I believe Robert will take out 95 and book his $20,000. So Rick won't do it as a miss into the 16, follows with the bullseye, 94 left, goes at the 18, only hits a single. So 95 coming for Robert at a shot at $20,000.
Wow, couldn't have played out any better for the drama. Here's the man who could have his money doubled all by himself. This is a $20,000 shot for this 95 coming in. He's directly in the pee hole with the first dart, leaving himself 45 points, which translates to a triple 15 for that money.
GLC! Wow, what a shot, Robert Talbot.
Cannot believe it. Great finish. 2 darts. Big shot. $20,000. Dennis Sanden, covering his mouth, wins $10,000. Your runners up here, Eric and Rick, both go home with $5,000.
Wow, I can't even. I had to jump out of my seat on that one. What an amazing shot by Robert Talbot. Where were those darts this whole time? We would not have had to play a game of 7-1. Doesn't matter. He pulls it out when it matters. He's going to pocket $20,000. Dennis Sanden will get 10. Eric and Rick will get 5. But more. Also, if you see there on the right, that is the lady from Bullseye News. They're going to get a cover on Bullseye News as well as the women's champion. So big darts by Robert Talbot.
Yes, the winners of this event do get the cover of the Bullseye News. Also, the mixed doubles invitational. So Eric Gregory and his partner Sarah will also get that cover as well. Great darts, big drama there at the end. Came down to a final leg. Couldn't have drawn it up any better here at the Tournament of Champions here in Kansas City, Missouri, put on by the PPD and their partners. Have to admit, had a blast this weekend.
Oh my goodness, this was an amazing event. How do you finish any better than a P-hole dead center and a triple 15 for $20,000?
And you know what? He throws with 5 darts, so he may just leave those in there and take the other 3 home.
I take my $20,000, I walk straight to the guy from Arachnid, I buy that board, and I never pull those darts out.
All right, that'll do it for us here on the live feed. We hope you enjoyed all of the drama here. Greatly appreciate everyone tuning in, and we will catch you again sometime soon.